Alright, the fairing is on and mounted. It looks good. Nice and straight, nice and strong. Yeah, not going anywhere. So, the goal for today is to do all the mounting holes. The mounting holes for the turn signal, mounting holes for the mirrors, and the holes for the windshield to mount to. That's the goal. So, I already got my little what do you call it, marker out. I marked the holes here and down here. Now I just got to take the fairing off, drill them out, because I don't want to bring my drill out here and just drill in this sort of environment. I'd rather have it off and do it on the bench, and it's really only 4 bolts I have to get to anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But yeah, that's the goal today. And there's wind noise, I'm sorry, we've been getting a lot of rain. So now what I'm doing is I'm putting the little like turn signal covers on, and you know, there's nothing I can do to like line it up, and like, you know, like there's no pre-existing holes like how I mounted the mirror holes. There's no way for me to like, you know, have it jigged up and like just kind of like outline the hole. So I need to be able to know that when I stick this on here, you know, I need to know like where to drill essentially. So instead of guessing, the thing that I found is best is to steal your wife's fabric paint, or basically any sort of like, you know, paint you can find lying around. This is just what I found in her part of the workspace, and put a little dab on the ends of your posts. Line her up, and you only get one shot at this, so make sure it counts. Line it up where you want it. Give it a little press and a wiggle, and off you go. And there's your marks. And that's what you drill to. Pretty neat. So the mirror or the turn signal guys are mounted up there. Looking good. I don't know if I mentioned it for the one side that I didn't have the thumb nuts for. I just used some nylon nuts, and basically I can thread them pretty tight with just my thumb, and they'll stay on there because they're, you know, nylon locks nuts. So that works. So now what I gotta do is actually drill out the turn signal holes. Now on the stock fairing, the holes are friggin' enormous. Like, here they are. Like, they're big. Probably so that so it allows the turn signal to move around and wiggle a little bit. But honestly, all I'm gonna do is, for now anyways, I'm just gonna outline just make a rough outline of the circle here, and just drill right in the center, and then router the rest of it out. So if I need to do more, I can, because this cover is gonna cover it anyways. So we'll see. The next thing, I guess, is to mount it on the bike again and make sure that, you know, the mirror holes are you know, where they're supposed to be, and then I can mount up the windscreen and mark out where the windshield bolt holes are gonna go. Everything's lining up really well. Turn signals are in there, lined up, both of them, with no stress on the fairing whatsoever. Windshield's on there. I tried my best to mark down everything, but it's kind of a tight squeeze in there, so I just made absolutely sure the ones that I could get to, the holes I could get to, like this one right here, and that one right there, and then that one maybe, but definitely that one right there. And if I make sure that those are lined up, then I can probably get the rest of them to line up with the fairing off and on my bench. So that's the hope, because this is actually pretty hard to get markers in there to mark everything. But Yeah, the mirrors are on there. They're mounted nicely. I mean, I know this one's backwards, but whatever, it's mock-up. But yeah, this thing is coming together real well. I'm super stoked on it. I don't like how these hit the fairing on full turn, but whatever. I'll live with it. Looking good. We are all squared away with the windshield. I realized I ran out of these little like fairing bolts. So I gotta get more of them, but they're easy to come back and actually just get them from China for like $3. It's no big deal. So this is as far as I'm gonna take this fairing for now. I'm resisting the temptation to paint it and just get it done. On the stock fairing, there's some bolt holes like here and like down here, which makes me think that there's going to be a mounting point like there for the side fairings. And unfortunately, I have absolutely nothing to reference for the side fairings. The bike I bought just did not have them, period. So that's going to be a bit of a black box trying to figure out, like, you know, how all that stuff fits together. So I'm going to wait on that for now. As far as waiting on it for like finishing the paint up on this thing. I guess the next step is to see how the side fairings fit and like mark down where they mount, because there can't be too many mounting points for those fairings. Probably like 5, and probably only like 1 or 2 that are actually necessary. But I'll get them all. But yeah, I can pretty much call this front fairing done. All the mounting is up and everything fits, and oh my god, I'm done with the front fairing. Also, I may get a new windscreen. This one is pretty scratched up. I did take some of the same stuff used to like polish up old faded headlights and put it on here, and it did make a world of difference. You couldn't hardly see through this thing before. But, you know, that stuff is not going to get up like scratches and big gashes like this. You know, it's not going to get rid of that. So I don't know, I might get a new one. They're around like 80 bucks. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I want it. But, I don't know. I probably will. So, assessing the situation on these FZR placement side fairings. And again, sorry for wind noise if there is any. I'm sure there is. This is the accident side. You can tell because, you know, it's obvious marks, and then this was the majority of where the damage was on the original fairing. So, you know, issues. This one looks like it's probably going to fit pretty well. This bracket right here got bent and damaged. So I literally just with my hands just kind of like pulled it back into place, because originally the top of this fairing was rubbing on this radiator hose, and that's not good, you know, so I have to create some space there. So there's one mount right there. There's another mount right here. You see? From point to point? Yeah. There's another mount right here, and that's been pushed in from the crash as well, so I'm just going to bend that back into place too. That's also not a big deal. There's a little bracket down here that comes off the frame that I don't think is bent, but there's definitely a little mount there and a captive nut to keep the fairing in place, so it's going to mount from the bottom. So this side doesn't look like it's going to be too big a deal, and then you know, and then sure enough, these two tabs right here, like this little wing here and this little wing here, is meant to mount to the bottom of the cowling. So, you know, I got to drill into there. The only other thing that I'm probably going to have to modify for this fairing is it rubs up against the exhaust. So I'm just going to have to basically router myself some space. This doesn't, yeah, this will probably be pretty straightforward. This side, not too worried about it. A little bit more confident in putting these fairings on now, so it's good. Now the left side is where it's going to get a little bit more weird. you know, all the mounts are there. This one was not, this front mount was not damaged. So, you know, all this stuff is gonna line up. There's a mount there, and there's supposed to be a mount underneath here, but it's missing the bracket, so I'm gonna go and see if I can scour that on eBay. The only thing that's gonna make this side difficult is the kickstand mounts outside the fairing. So there's a big indent right here on the fairing, and the kickstand actually mounts over that. So there's going to be some stuff there. We have ourselves our first issue. First of all, I'm in the kind of working halfway out of the garage because it's raining and cruddy out. But our first major issue is this bracket right here. See, it's all bent out of shape there. It should look like this one. See how it's a nice right angle? That's how it should look. So what I'm trying to do is I got it soaked with PB, and I'm going to try and take these bolts out. This bracket is a little bent on this side, and these are actually pretty easy to find, so if I can't bend it back, I'll get another one. Hang on, wind. I didn't know I kicked up so much wind noise last time, sorry. So I'm going to try and get these off and bend these back into place. Now I can't actually get new ones of these brackets because they mount directly onto the frame here. So I'm kind of SOL there unless I can find this one piece of the frame and just replace that, which actually wouldn't be that hard. It's only a few bolts. So I don't know. It's an idea if this doesn't work. But yeah, I got to get those off, and I can't just spin a wrench on them because they've obviously been gnarled up in the crash, so I can't fit my 10mm on there. So I'm just gonna try and let the PV soak and get the jaws of life on there and try and break them loose. Long shot. In order to get the, and I did mess this up, but in order to get try and line it up as best I could, because I know I'd have a rough time with this side because there was an accident, because it got laid down on the right side. I know I'd have a rough time with this, so I routed out these two mounting holes pretty deep just so that I could start lining it up a little bit better. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, and I should have went a different route, but it is what it is. I can repair this pretty easily with you know, routing out like a circular sort of block or a circular little pattern there out of the old fairing, out of the old cowl, not this fairing, and just like basically JB it in place, and then I can drill into it. So I'm not too concerned. I'll get that fixed up, but I had to. I felt like I had to do that because, you know, I had to finagle this one a lot more than I will have to the left side of the bike. So we're getting there. Oh, and the windscreen's on. Looks good. Moto gods were actually nice to me for a change. I was able to get these off with just a vice grips and some PB blaster, but look at those things, man. They're gnarled up. Yeah, I'm going to be replacing those for sure. So here's the extent. So this lower rad is obviously like super duper bent in. I'm just going to get the vice grips on those and bend them out. And this one, same thing, vice grips on those and try and bend it into the right position. I'm confident this will work. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have to replace this bracket. It's bent in two places. First one is the where the screws go through here. That's bent. That's numero uno. And dos is it's kind of bent here. So I'm just gonna replace it. I mean, this won't cost me very much to replace. I got them kind of back in a decent position. This one is pretty good. It's pretty much where it needs to be. This one is level, but it's sitting back a little bit more. It should be straight off, but you know, I think all I'll do is I'll just like, I don't know, maybe put a washer in there to make up the space a little bit, because I was hearing this crack a little bit when I was moving it around. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to test my luck with that, because if I break that bracket off, I'm pretty boned, you know, because that's a very necessary bracket. It mounts the radiator on the right side of the engine. So yeah, I don't want to mess that up. So for today, what's left? What can I do? I don't want to mess around too much with the left side, because it requires me to take off the kickstand to mount it on there. So I don't know. I think I might try and repair those guys and just start working on that. A lot of that, I really just need to put something in there, and that's not going to be shown a whole lot, because it's going to be covered up by a washer and a rubber bushing. So the bushing is going to take up like all of this space, but I need something for the bushing to grip onto in order to hold it in place. So that's why I gotta redo that. Yeah, so I guess I could do that, but I'm a little unmotivated because of this weather. It's windy and wet and gross. So I did a test spray of this stuff that I was gonna use on the fairings. I don't really like it. I was painting up this mirror, and it's really like textured, and I really don't like that. This stuff does not lay flat, and I figured, well, you know, maybe it's the material. And I had some spare metal lying around that was clean. I sprayed this down on it, and it's pretty specky too. So I don't like this stuff. I think this might be good. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. It comes out, it says, like, you know, it's got double the coverage, and it comes out super fast, paint and primer together. I don't like it. It comes out of the nozzle super spotty. So I think I'm going to go and get some Ace brand paint that is, or like stuff that isn't paint and primer in one. Something that maybe lays a little bit more, comes out thinner, so I can apply a lot of coats so that I'm not running into this sort of like spottiness. So this stuff, no good. Well, not for my application.